Okay, guys, so what we're going to learn about this week is histograms. I'm going to start with histograms, and we're going to get into some dot plots in a little bit. So here we have some data about lengths of favorite movies, okay? So students were asked the length of their favorite movie. And so the times were broken up into intervals from this many minutes to this many minutes. And so that is down on the left-hand side here. So the groups that they broke them into were 80 minutes to less than 90 minutes, 90 minutes to less than 100 minutes, 100 minutes to less than 110 minutes, 110 minutes to less than 120 minutes, 120 minutes to less than 130 minutes, 130 minutes to less than 140 minutes, and then 140 minutes to less than 150 minutes, and lastly 150 minutes to less than 160 minutes. And the reason we have these less than symbols is because we can't have one group end with 90 and then the next group start with 90. Then that number would be counted twice. Okay, that's why we say to less than. So you could end this with 89 if you wanted to. So 80 to 89 would be fine. But you can't have 80 to 90 and then 90 to 100. You can't do that because then you would be counting 90 twice. Okay, so that's why it's the less than number. So then what they did was they tallied how many people chose the length of each kind of movie. Okay, so we have that. And so 2 people said that 90 to 100 minutes was less than 100 minutes was how long their favorite movie was. 6 people said their favorite movie is 100 to less than 110 minutes. And then 4 people said their favorite movie is 110 minutes to less than 120 minutes. And then the next one said 120 minutes to less than 130 minutes, 4 people. And then 130 minutes to less than 140 minutes, 3 people. Nobody said 140 minutes to less than 150 minutes. And then 150 minutes to less than 160 minutes. Okay, 7 people said that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that data and we're going to create a histogram. Now, histograms are very similar to bar graphs. Then you're going to find that. And they're very easy to make. What's important is that you realize what frequency means. Frequency is how often something occurs. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. And again, this is my x-axis. And this would be my y. Okay? My y-axis. And so this going up is going to be my frequency. Okay? And that is going to be how many people, the number of people that chose it. Okay? Number of people that chose it. And you can see that our frequency goes from 2 to 7. Okay? So this I'm going to kind of put by... I'm going to go by ones. This is going to be 1, 2. I'm going to back this up a little bit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then my intervals are going to go across the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to say that this one, I'm going to go sideways so I have more room, is 80. And I'm going to say 89 to make it easier. And then this one is going to be 90 to 99, 100 to 109, and then this one is going to be 110 to 119, 120 to 129, 130 to 139, 140 to 149, 150 to 159, and then 100, well, that's as far as it goes, because 160 would be the next one up. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to straighten that out, because that is really bothering me that is so crooked. There we go, there's my Y. Okay, is we're going to make our histogram. So 80 to 90 is not going to be represented 80 to less than 90 because no one chose it. Okay, so that is blank. Nothing is going to happen there. So, but 90 to 99, 2 people said their favorite movie was that long. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to draw a bar there like that. okay? And then the next one was 100 to 110, 6 people. Now these touch. Bar graphs usually are different because they have space in between. Histograms are going to keep touching. So it's going to go all the way up and over and come down right there, just like that at the 6. And then I have 4 from 110 to 120, same thing. So I need to keep touching. It's going to come over and come down. There it is. And then I have another 4 from 120 to 130. So I'm going to keep that at the same. Pretend my drawing. You know my drawing skills here, guys. Look how perfect that is. And then 3 from 130 to 140. So I'm going to come down a smidgen. There it is. Okay. None from 140 to 150. So that stays blank. And then 7. I have a 7 here. So that's going to go all the way up to 7. So there's my histogram. That's how I would represent it. And you can clearly see from this graph that this one has the most, right? Then these are not represented at all here. You can clearly then look and see how your data is distributed, right? And look at the data and analyze it pretty easily. And it was pretty easy to make that histogram as well. Okay, so that's a histogram, very similar to the bar graph. The Edpuzzle you have on histogram and the rest of this Google slide notes, they should be helpful to you. There's another histogram example in the Google slide along with the Go Math. I made a couple videos within that. So you're going to do the work for the Go Math and check your work with the video. Okay. So there's some examples to read through there too. So make sure that you check those out. Okay. So again, the intervals are probably the biggest thing that's different for you. Okay. All right. So that's histogram. Pretty easy actually. Okay. Okay guys, this is an example of a dot. Okay guys, this is an example of the dot plot. When you look at this, you're going to say, Mrs. Eccles, that's not a dot plot. That's a line plot. And you are right. It's very similar to the line plots that you learned last year in 5th grade. So again, we have our frequency table, how often the data occurred. They have the tally marks that they did to measure the favorite color. So very similar to the same data table that we just analyzed for the histogram. Then what they did for the dot plot is they made the X's. So dot plots can have dots, okay, like this. They can have X's, they can have plus signs, they might have stars or asterisks, okay? All those are examples of dot plots. So what they did here was they just analyzed this data, they took it, and they put it over here on the dot plot. So, with X's. So there were 4 kids that chose red as their favorite color, so it is 4 X's. There were 7 that chose blue, there were 7 X's. There were 2 that chose green, so there were 2 X's. There were 7 that chose purple. There were 7 X's. And there were 9 that chose something else. So what we can determine by looking at this table is that, for one, most people preferred a different color other than the ones that were listed here. So maybe they liked black or orange or, magenta or some crazy, color not listed. Brown, who knows. Anyway, so most people preferred another color. The ones that are listed, blue and purple, were liked by the same number of people, right? And then no one chose yellow. So sadly, yellow, as bright and cheery as it is, no one liked it. So you can look at this and you can say that the mode of this would be other, right? We could easily look at this and say that the number of kids that picked was how many? Well, 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 7 is what? 20, plus 9 is 29. So 29 kids here chose their favorite color. So you can look at this table and analyze a lot of things from it, okay? And so that's what you use dot plots for. And as you go through the Google Slides, you're going to get a lot of dot plot examples, and I did create some videos for you on analyzing some of the examples of the dot plots in there. And there's also an Edpuzzle on dot plots. Okay, so they're pretty easy, very similar to the line plots that you learned last year in 5th grade. Okay, so there you go. Quick 10-minute video on histograms and dot plots. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. Thanks.